He was really struggling to stay afloat, holding onto his boat, which was sinking.
You've got to help people. Like, the man was in trouble. We were able to help him. The two of us got on the island and we did the job, and it worked out okay.
The end of the line for these towering twins. "180 kilograms of explosives levelled the 155-metre tall concrete chimneys in seconds. Cameras in the demolition zone capturing the moment the stacks lost their footing. Built in the 1960s, Munmorah Power Station's chimneys have become part of the physical landscape and the region's industrial heritage. Today, spectators lined Lake Munmorah to watch history fall to the ground. And the moment wasn't lost on demolition workers either.
It's a really big day for us too. It's not every day you detonate an explosion like we did this morning. It was really great to see it go according to plan.
The 15-second drop has been years in the making, part of a lengthy rehabilitation process that started when the plant was closed in 2012.
It's basically structural engineering in reverse. We did a full structural analysis just as you would if you were building a stack, but that gives us the information then to work out what material to take out so that the stack will be out of balance and will fall over in the intended direction.
This is what over 13,000 tonnes of flattened concrete looks like. The demolition waste from both of the stacks will remain on site, used to fill in voids following the plant's rehabilitation. The next part of the station to go will be the boilers and turbine hall. The entire site is set to be cleared by August next year. Georgina Smythe, NBN News.
From Spider-Man to Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman, a superhero crowd off in a flash. Out and about, all to help real-life heroes.
We thought it was important to support the Westpac helicopter. It's such a worthy cause.
One which has touched the lives of many walking in the superhero stride.
Back in 1997, my brother was actually rescued by Westpac Rescue Helicopter Service.
That's what it's all about, is making sure that the patients that we've picked up do recover in the long run.
Each year, the service undertakes more than 1,000 missions, delivering urgent medical care and transporting patients when every second counts, and so does every dollar.
Our events help us continue to offer a free of charge service to the community, and really at the end of the day it's a matter of engaging the community to support their service.
Many took today's 3-kilometre walk in their stride.
You have to go all the way to the end and come back.
It's a long walk.
Yep.
Will you enjoy it?
I will.
Have a bit of fun as well, yeah?
Exactly right.
Not looking at anyone, how are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Nice warm out there in the suit, but well worth it.
For those who truly deserve it.
Being out there helping to save lives are the real superheroes.
Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
Trailing 1-0 early, Lake Macquarie got back on level terms thanks to a Justin Broadley free kick. Charlestown City almost produced an immediate response. Reen Ferguson had a better chance, but Ben Kelly had him covered. Both sides struggled to hit the target after the break. Sam Walker tried a header before his opposite number, Corey Atkinson, missed for the Blues. Nathan Archbold made a cracking save to keep the home side in it, while Ferguson continued to threaten without success. Last night, Japanese import Keigo Moriyasu scored a hat-trick as the Eagles belted Adamstown. At Broadmeadow, Valentine had the early advantage, but the home side was in front by half-time. Shane Paul made it 3 as the Magic Men grabbed the competition lead.
T20 was our biggest one because we won that last year, so back to back, and we got that, and then this was our next goal. So this is a big one, and we've been wanting this for the last 6 to 8 years, really. Nothing will change. Nothing's changed since I've been in Hemwicks for 8 years, so it's a really good centre core through the club. So yeah, we'll keep that.
Dangerous and out of control. 300 people at a house party in Charlestown last month, 11 people were arrested.
These kind of parties mean that Lake Macquarie is becoming Yobbo Central.
Parties Lake Macquarie councillor John Gilbert wants to see an end to. A motion to be debated tonight recommends that council lobby the state government to enforce a crackdown.
So that we can get some real control over these out of control parties in Lake Macquarie and indeed throughout the state.
If the motion succeeds, the council would ask the police minister to consider out-of-control event laws, forcing party hosts to register an event if it involves a gathering of more than 30 people. Similar legislation exists elsewhere in the country. It's designed, according to Councillor Gilbert, to stop unruly parties in the first place.
The laws that go back and strike at the root cause of the problem, which is the people that run them, that invite everyone, that publish them on social media and so on. We need to get back to a point where these things are shut down so that we don't need to tie up police resources later on.
The motion will be voted on tonight. Kate Haberfield, NBN News.
We have to consolidate now and play out the rest of the year and show a bit of pride and look at the ones that are, going to be around at the club next year and the ones that will show a bit more urgency and desire. I mean, it was a make or break game today and that clearly wasn't good enough.
With plenty of positive signs in the opening 3 rounds, the Knights' effort against Penrith caught the coach off guard. Today, Brown was critical of his side's goal line defence, commitment and physicality.
If you're physically not on your game and you play a side like Penrith, who have got a lot of good footy players and are a very, very good attacking side, you're always going to get in trouble. And this week we've got Cronulla, so, who were premiers last year for a reason.
The heavy loss was also punishing on the injury front.
Mitch Barnett will be in a little bit of doubt. Brock Lamb will be in a little bit of doubt. Jacob Safidi's going to have to pass concussion protocols.
Danny Levi will also face a concussion test, but he's confident he'll be there to help his teammates bounce back.
We all know that that's not what we're about and that doesn't define us as a team. We all know and we're all confident in what we can do. So all we've got to do is just pretty much pick ourselves back up.
But it's not just injuries that could cause a reshuffle.
Some guys who've probably been a little bit below par for a couple of weeks in a row now, so there's certainly a number of things we've got to look at.
Brendan Elliott will return to face the Sharks, while Anthony Tupou is likely to make his top-grade debut for Newcastle. Scottish international Joe Wardle is hoping to make a full-time move to the back row following his first NRL game.
The body's all good. I don't think the lungs were though, to be honest. Real quick game. To be honest, that's probably our downfall though. We let them get a good roll on and we didn't control the ruck, didn't control their forwards.
Undefeated in 2016, Souths are still the team to beat.
I suppose the last couple of years we've set the bar quite high and, the teams can come and have a go at us.
Beaten grand finalists Forsyths are hoping to maintain their momentum from last year.
We didn't have the greatest start to our season. We had a few losses in the start, but then we really concentrated training on our game, worked on our plays, and then as the games progressed, we started to win more games.
Maryville Tavern's team has a host of big names and they've tasted success before.
We're hoping to win it again, but that's everyone's hope as well. But yeah, we're definitely aiming for the best.
Nova Thunder is looking to build on its impressive top flight debut.
We only got to verse South, the premiers, once last year, and that was in our first round, and we were even at half time, and then we kind of lost it there. So we definitely want to claw that back and definitely want to take them off.
Souths, meanwhile, will field two sides after the Pride won the second division.
We definitely know we've got to bring our A game. We know it's a big step up from the A grade. A lot of top girls in the top teams, and so we're just keen to start playing this Saturday and give it a good crack.
Junction Hotel is doing the opposite, going from two sides to one.
We've kept the girls that we thought played quite well last season, and the young guns that we've got coming through. It's a bit exciting to see them step up.
Images from a terrifying summer. Flames leap into the sky at Head and Greeter as residents run for cover. The bushfire emergency that unfolded around Kurri Kurri in January is hard to forget. Devastating, but not nearly as destructive as the massive Lone Pine fire, which torched almost 10,000 hectares near Karua last November. The Rural Fire Service says this bushfire season has been one of the most demanding. If volunteers weren't battling flames here, they were lending a hand somewhere else.
The day we saw the catastrophic fires in Coonabarabran and Port Macquarie, as soon as it's quietened down here, our guys were on their trucks and went up to help them.
The Hunters bushfire danger period draws to a close on Friday, the official end to what's been one of the busiest seasons on record. Since October, the RFS has responded to 6 major bushfires, and their footprint is massive, scorching more than 12,500 hectares. Recent rain has provided a much-needed reprieve, but with the wet weather comes a new set of challenges.
With the rain comes growth, so during the winter months there'll be a lot of fuel out there, so people have got to be on their toes ready for whatever's in store for us next season.
Amanda Bennett, NBN News.
It allows or it enables consultants, regulators and also owners of contaminated sites to take into consideration what are the potential pathways that can lead to those risks.
According to these residents, plans to subdivide a Madawi property will change the rural feel of the area.
We all bought here for our half-acre lots, some room to move. We've all invested big money in our houses.
The property on South Street was successfully rezoned for higher density housing by its previous owners in 2012. But a self-described administrative error by Port Stephens Council resulted in the minimum lot size being reduced, giving the new owners a chance to subdivide. They've since submitted a DA to allow for an additional dwelling on the site, and neighbours are outraged.
The value of our property is going to go down. We've had real estate agents out, property valuers. They've said that, yes, it will affect the value of the property. It will definitely make it harder to sell.
The property owners, a family, have declined to comment. A spokesperson says Port Stephens Council is currently investigating how the administrative error was made, but the DA to subdivide the property will still be debated at a council meeting tonight. Georgina Smythe, NBN News.
I guess the thing about World War I and the objects that are here is they're not just things, they're stories and they're real life and they're real people.
Soaring at 31,000 feet inside one of the most sophisticated aircraft ever to grace the sky.
It's probably the most capable aircraft of its type in the world right now.
The E-7A Wedgetail is Australia's unassuming and unlikely weapon, unrivalled in its technology. Our military's advanced airborne early warning aircraft.
The aircraft is highly capable and certainly second to none within any air force around the world.
The advantages that it brings in a joint environment, so be it land, air or maritime, is huge. 6 Wedgetails are housed at RAF Base Williamtown. NBN News joined the 2nd Squadron on a training mission to Victoria.
Mission Wedgetails 01 for today, aircraft 001.
The dish on top forms part of the complex heart of the plane, a powerful radar. It allows the Wedgetail to provide what Defence calls one of the most advanced battle space management programs in the world. In layman's terms, it's a command post in the sky.
What it can do with its radar and sensors is incredible and provides a massive oversight of the battle space.
Using the radar and the other sensors that we have on board the aircraft, we're looking around us at a large volume of airspace, taking that information.
It can scan hundreds of kilometres in every direction and cover 4 million square kilometres during a single 10-hour mission.
Taking that information and either using it to execute the task that we've been given, i.e. move those chess pieces, those aircraft around the sky, or to pass that information on to other users.
Including other personnel in the Air Force, Army and Navy.
My job when I leave Wedgetail is when I return to the fleet is to do my best job to try and integrate Wedgetail with the ships that we run at sea.
The Wedgetail has already proved itself on countless missions: Exercise Red Flag, Exercise Pitch Black and Operation Okra, helping in the fight against ISIL. The Wedgetail is not only one of the most advanced aircraft, it's also one of the most reliable and sought after. A standard flight is usually between 8 to 10 hours, even longer with air-to-air refuelling. And during a standard operation, a mission can last up to 15 hours.
We can stay airborne for long periods of time, longer than any other normal 737. And in fact, we've currently got the record of over 17 hours flight duration, which was on a flight that I was on board over the Middle East.
And as the threat to our nation and its allies evolves, rest assured, so does the Wedgetail.
Very passionate. I've been involved in Wedgetail since the beginning, so I'm very proud of where it's come today.
Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
Sander's been on fire for us the last couple of weeks, and this week against Newcastle, unfortunately, he won't be playing. So we're going to have to find another way to score, and I'm sure there's a few other boys that'll be able to take the lead role. A pretty bad result last week against Wellington, so they'll be looking to bounce back at home, and we'll be playing for a lot of pride. So we've got to make sure that we really switch on and we just keep climbing up that table and get as high as possible going into the finals.
They're making huge strides in the world of competitive surf lifesaving. Now Dan Collins and Isaac Costello are ready to race at the Aussies for Redhead.
I think I've matured a lot racing, racing a lot smarter, and I think I've gone to another level with my racing, so it'll be good to see this weekend how I actually go.
Fresh from the National Series and the state titles at Blacksmiths, the pair will be battling for coveted spots in the Ironman final.
You got maybe over 200 guys showing up ready to race, so yes, it's about making it through the rounds and hopefully get into that final and see what happens.
I feel like I just probably give a bit more, maybe sort of just fix up a little few errors, just sort of stuff. But yeah, just looking forward to go out there, and obviously to make that Australian final is a big thing.
But from a team perspective, it's the Taplin Relay crown everyone will be chasing. Redhead has managed silver at the last two Nationals. Naturally, this year it wants to go one better.
This year we've got a very young team and we had a very good result at state, so Going into the Australians, I think we're all pretty confident, and I think we can definitely have an upset up there.
Another member of that team, someone you may recognise from NBN News, state double ski champion Samuel Jourdan.
Every club wants to win the Taplin. You got 6 people in that Taplin team, and it really shows the depth of the club. So if you can get 2 strong swimmers, 2 strong board paddlers and 2 strong ski paddlers, you definitely deserve to be up on that podium and mixing it with the bigger clubs.
Kate Haberfield, NBN News.
So he's in good order. He's such a consistent horse. He'll run really well. Now the weights have gone up a kilo. I suppose it's a good leveler now, but I'm very pleased with the horse.
Police were called to this unit block on Longworth Avenue at around 11:30 p.m. amid reports of gunfire. Today, the evidence of that was clear to see. Around 26 shots were fired into the building in an incident lasting just seconds.
I was about 200 metres away on Newcastle Road, and in about 10 seconds there would have been about a dozen shots, bang, 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 real rapid fire. None of the crack or echo like a firework usually would be, so I kind of had half an idea what it was.
No one was injured, and it's unclear if there were people inside at the time. Forensic police spent the morning combing the scene for clues, while officers from the Newcastle City Command launched an investigation. They're considering whether the shooting is bikie related. It follows a string of similar attacks in recent days, including shots being fired into a Nomads clubhouse at Islington, where 3 people were also arrested over 2 assaults, and a drive-by shooting at Metford. As for this incident, police are appealing for anyone with information to come forward.
44-year-old Shane Baldock is facing both drug and firearms charges. His matter was heard today at Newcastle Local Court. Baldock didn't appear and bail wasn't applied for. These are just some of the drugs police allege they found when they stormed the property at Teralba Street in Broadmeadow at around 9 o'clock yesterday morning. In total, officers say they seized 1,000 ecstasy tablets, methamphetamine and a pill press machine, along with a hydroponic setup with 41 cannabis plants and 3 firearms. Baldock has been charged with 2 counts of drug supply, 1 of drug manufacture and another for cannabis cultivation, along with a string of firearms offences. His matter was adjourned until Monday next week, where it's expected his solicitor will apply for bail on his behalf. Baldock will appear via video link.
On the beat, bearing treats, police doing their best to win over even the youngest hearts and minds. The Coffee with a Cop in Hamilton was all about breaking down barriers between officers and the community.
I just think, people don't always look at the police in a positive way, and if they can do something like this that makes it a bit more positive for people, well, so be it, that's great. It makes people feel comfortable with them. That's what we need, isn't it, really?
Business owners on Beaumont Street have reported a rise in break-ins since the truncation of the heavy rail line. But things are slowly starting to turn around, partly thanks to the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce working closely with police.
We have a number of people who are now stopping at Hamilton and walking down the main road and probably stopping here and maybe causing some concern to members of the community, but I suppose a lot of action is being taken.
The change with Superintendent John Grolton has put more police on. The Transport Command has been all around here, making sure that business owners and residents feel safe.
Today's coffee run designed to continue that positive trend. Emma Murphy, NBN News.
It's little more than 4 walls at the moment, but this is already a place of pride, and it has the potential to be so much more to many returned servicemen and women.
It's going to give them a place where they can come, a safe environment where they feel relaxed, where they can utilise the services.
Veteran support group Soldier On is in the process of moving into the space at Broadmeadow, donated by Newcastle Jockey Club. It will be a place veterans can access a range of services and one where they can feel comfortable.
I want to run it similar to a drop-in centre concept where they can come, they can have a coffee, they can have a chat.
Service dogs like Max will also be able to take a break. But for all that to happen, Soldier On needs help.
So I'm calling upon any tradies, builders. We need carpenters, we need plumbers, we need electricians, plasterers, painters. We need an outdoor area specialist.
Given Newcastle's rich military history, hundreds of people could soon be walking through the doors.
Newcastle itself is a large veteran base, both ex-serving members across the valley and Newcastle, Port Stephens, Central Coast, but also it's the focus on also the current serving, the members that are transitioning out.
Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
For them to not think about themselves and then put themselves on the line for people that they didn't even know, and their whole country is a really big sacrifice to make.
People at our age were actually lying about their age to go there and go on a great adventure and see what it was like, and realising afterwards that it wasn't what they originally thought.
Gordon Scriven is one of the 19,000 Australian men diagnosed with prostate cancer each year, but he considers himself one of the lucky ones.
Had that not been pointed out to me, I wouldn't be here today probably.
Gordon underwent a new approach to treatment involving radiation therapy, just not as often as usual.
It really is going to be a game changer about the way that we can offer treatment to men in prostate cancer.
It follows a study led by the Newcastle-based Trog Cancer Research involving 1,000 men from Australia, Canada and France.
Instead of treating them 5 times a week over 8 weeks, we can actually compress it all down to a 4-week treatment approach with exactly the same cure rates.
If you have to keep coming back for 3, 6, 9 months on a regular basis, it wears you out mentally as well as physically. My cancer count's gone from 14 down to 0.06.
Prostate cancer is mainly diagnosed in men aged 60 to 79, with 1 in 5 males at risk of developing the disease before the age of 85. While the shorter treatment regime is already being used at some cancer centres, nothing beats early diagnosis.
Don't hide, get diagnosis as quickly as possible and take advice.
Tyson Cottrell, NBN News.
You know, she's not a big mare and she's been racing very consistently in her class races, but with big weights. And she really let down today, just ridden a little more conservative, and she got a good ride from Brenton and she was able to produce.
Three games left and no chance of making the finals, but the skipper says there's still plenty of motivation in the Jets camp.
There's still a lot to play for. There's boys that are coming off contract, boys that are going to be here next year that need to prove to the coach they want to be here, and we need to make sure we finish off the season on a positive note.
Despite missing the business end for a 7th straight year, the club has a new goal.
Finishing 7th is one step better than last year. It's still not the 6th, we understand that, but we can still salvage what we've done in the season. It's the last 2 results haven't been great, and we admit that.
There's now talk owner Martin Lee will make more funds available to bring in new players and potentially a marquee.
You could probably talk to Sydney and they'd probably want to strengthen their squad as well. So it's always a possibility, but regardless of that, the players that we have here, we have enough in our squad, and we've shown it during the year that we can perform better than we have the last couple of rounds.
Meanwhile, Ben Kennedy has reportedly been sounded out for a move to the Mariners, with Paul Izzo set to depart at the end of the season. Newcastle CEO Laurie McKenna says the Jets will offer Kennedy a 1-year contract, subject to a medical, when his existing deal runs out on May 31. Sioni's 50th game has come around quicker than a few people realised.
I'm going to have to tell my brother, I'm not sure if he knows, but just to do it for the Knights. I've grown up in Newcastle, I've always wanted to play for them, and I have a big passion for Newcastle here, and it's giving me goosebumps. I can't wait, it's going to be awesome.
The 20-year-old has already played for Australia, but he says his Newcastle debut alongside brother Chanel remains the highlight. The young forward has plenty he wants to achieve for the Knights and himself.
Origin and City Country and also playing for my heritage in Samoa, they're definitely goals that I'm trying to achieve, and like everyone else knows, you've got to be playing some good club footy to get there, and some consistent footy.
Sioni's teammates will look to help him celebrate by beating the Sharks.
It's a milestone, and I think we need to get around these milestones as a playing group and start to think about how we can make this a positive memory for Sioni and how we can make it a positive memory for this club.
Last season, Cronulla handed Newcastle its worst ever home loss, a low point in a tough season for Dane Gagai.
That's long gone. Obviously, it was disappointing last year, but we're not the same team as we were last year, and I think we showed that in our first 3 games, and obviously it was a disappointment for us last week, but we're looking to go back out and bounce back from that.